so many nuances in the relationship between Kelly and Bernadette. So we thought we would talk on that a little bit more today. Nuances meaning personalization, things that make Bernadette Bernadette to Kelly. Now that sounds really strange, right? We don't go into 3D relationships thinking, what is the nuance about that person? Yet honestly, we really do. So let's talk about how that works. How these seemingly personalized characteristics come to play in this relationship as well as the ones in the 3D. As we've already covered, for us to see ourselves as a separate self, we invariably have to see others as separate beings as well. It's how we get to play this game of life. Yet we've already pointed to the fact that the most important work that you can do while you're in this physical incarnate situation is to see through the illusion of a separate self. So let's start with how that works with Bernadette and translate how that works in the 3D. As Kelly has mentioned, initially when Bernadette came to her in the emergency room after her suicide, she had to trust for the first time that that physical being sitting on the end of the cot while the doctors were asking Kelly if she was seeing or hearing anything that others weren't. And this is the first time she's having to trust that inner guidance that's appearing externally and telling her, don't tell them, they'll lock you up. And that relationship with Bernadette, seemingly physical, seemingly outside of Kelly, seemingly sitting on the cot, seemingly speaking with a voice that appeared external initially, was what Kelly needed. That unwavering faith and trust has developed over time, and the need to have that physical experience with Bernadette has fallen away. This is also how it translates in the 3D relationships. But I'm going to stop trying to talk to that one right now, come back to it, and stick with the relationship with Bernadette first. The first few weeks after the near-death experience, Bernadette remained seemingly external to Kelly. Kelly needed that for a while. She needed something new to trust. Because just as discussed in the annihilation of the ego video that we just did, there was some time for unraveling all of these old beliefs. Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, as alluded to in that video in Annihilation, Kelly also had to build trust. So the reverse of the annihilation was the introduction of a false appearing real situation. Meaning that Bernadette came physically because Kelly's need was there, but when that need was no longer there, she could trust beyond the 5 senses of needing to see anything outside of herself at all. Then the conversation just became a telepathic one, seeming like two conversing over topics, just as it would be with you and your bestie over a cup of tea. What makes Kelly still laugh to this day, and how she knows that's not her own voice, is that topics come through that she does not know. Language comes through that she does not know. Interpretations about things come through that she does not know. It's not uncommon for Kelly to Google things that Bernadette tells her, because there are still moments where she just thinks it's hysterical that this information comes through, especially the scientific stuff. The other thing that's fascinating is there will be information that will come through. Kelly will share about it, and then she'll be on YouTube, and all of a sudden a spiritual teacher's YouTube will pop up on her channel while she's making a coffee or moving about, and she didn't choose that video, but it came right onto the screen and started to play content that aligned perfectly with what Kelly just heard from Bernadette. Maybe it's a spiritual guru like an Eckhart Tolle or another spiritual guide that shares wisdom that they're getting. There's a reason for that, you guys. We're not all bumping into each other out here regurgitating stuff that we've pulled together. It's all coming from the same place. Infinite knowledge. So of course, gurus, teachers, those that share in this space will often sound like we're repeating each other, or we're copying each other, or we're mirroring each other. Mirror, mirror on the wall. This is a reflection of it all. What you cast back into the world, that is for you and you alone. Now, Bernadette just said that through Kelly. There's no way Kelly could be making this stuff up. She writes nothing down. Her messages and her videos come through her. It's not scripted. It's not her off watching other people's videos, coming here and regurgitating it in her own language. She laughs as much as you guys do when there's overlap and overlay. Yes, Kelly still enjoys listening to sweet people talk in the background like Neville Goddard or Ellen Watts, some of her favorites, and beautiful books like Michael Singer's books, The Untethered Soul, things like that, Byron Katie, A Thousand Names for Joy. These are all beautiful things. Thinging. But none of this belongs to Kelly, belongs to Bernadette, belongs to anyone. It's all ours. We did this. The collective consciousness which we are all a part of, God, love universe, is an expansion of an idea of a separate self. This is why Kelly's having so much fun playing with AI images. All of this is a show. All of this is a comic strip. All of this is a play of the mind. The characters, the costumes, the gender, the need for names, all of that is just the human mind demanding the ego to have control. Play with all of it, attached to none of it. That includes the characters in the 3D play. They too are coming out into your experience with the preferences that you've assigned to them. This is so important because this really quantifies what's really going on here. You, the listener of this message right now, are in fact the writer, the creator, the producer, the director, the cast of characters. You are the witness to all of this. You've designed it. You've cast it out into this 3D construct for you to get to see your work, and you get to rewrite the scripts over and over and over. When you get into the space of understanding who you really are, the idea that this life thing is pushing you around and that you need something called free will, thinking that you're needing to create something right now, is just part of the illusion. All of creation is here. There's nothing that you need to create. Yet, creation is happening based on your familiarity with who you are. And that vibrationally correlates to the experience playing in the play. Bernadette still comes to Kelly beautifully, physically, lovingly, femininely, softly and gently, just as Kelly asked for her to, in times of suffering, in times of feeling separate, in times of feeling absolutely terrified. And yes, those times still happen on occasion, but they just don't stick around anymore. Kelly simply asks, is any of this true? Is this thought true? Who is this for? Take me to your origin. And poof, the illusion is gone. The connection with Bernadette is no longer in the physical, and the relationship is far more intense. That need for it to project out into the 3D creates that illusion of a separate Bernadette. And although there are times when that feels comforting for Kelly, she's also aware that it's one component of removal from her understanding of herself when she has those moments. So in the 3D construct, it is the same. As we see through the illusion of the separate self, the actor in our play may fade away. It may just be that the script takes them out of your life. They appear to move to a different country or move into a different segment of their story. But what is really happening is that they've returned to the same non-physical state that Bernadette has for Kelly, and it's now telepathic. They never leave us, you guys, in the 3D or otherwise, because they are also a part of this oneness that is infinite. It is boundless. It is so expansive, we simply cannot wrap our heads around it in the linear. We hope this helps. Look at these nuances a little bit differently. The other interesting thing about the relationship and nuances with Bernadette is that when we have language, as mentioned, it is telepathic, but it is also not in English or a language at all. It's in fact in light code. At first, Kelly heard it as straightforward language, just like I do in the 3D. But as I moved further and developed the relationship with Bernadette more and started working with clients and connecting with their guides, what I discovered is that when people ask if they have a name, I would hear what I described as similar to what I hear when I listen to dolphin sounds in music. It's a code. It's a vibrational code. It's not words. But what happens in the story of Kelly is that it's translated for her and delivered in packets of information that come through like words. What's beautiful now, though, is that now that she realizes that that's also part of the illusion that she needed to learn and develop this new idea and concept of a separate Bernadette moving to a non-separate Bernadette, was that there's no longer the translator needed either. Because Kelly's no longer asking questions about why does this work this way and why does that happen this way, until she does. There is no need for that infinite knowledge until there is a need. And then when there is a need, the information just arrives. I could go on and on. This fascinates me as much as it does you guys. I love how infinite knowledge works. So if that's something you guys would like me to dig into deeper, I geek out over that stuff. So let me know in the comments. Infinite knowledge is definitely a fun one that we could cover, as is understanding how we take that knowledge, how we use it, how it's not necessary to hold on to it, learning to navigate with that understanding, etc., etc., etc. Just giving you some ideas of topics, but I'm leaving it to you guys to put your comments out there so that I make sure I make a video about something that is the most interesting to you right now. Much love. Until next time.